Hi, welcome back to Bickington Photographic Club's YouTube tutorials channel. In particular, this set of tutorials is based around the club night that we had on the 12th of March 2019, where we were looking at putting stroke borders, creating square crops, increasing our canvas sizes for triptychs and also for panels. We've shown you in the two previous tutorials how to do our stroke border, like this one we see here, and also how to create our square crop. So this time we're going to have a look at creating a triptych. Now, as the name would suggest, that requires 3 images, and I've already created a folder here that's got a couple of images in it. In fact, if I have a look, I can see I've actually got 2 images, and I told you we needed 3. Well, what I'm going to do with this particular triptych is I'm going to use this image of the otter twice in my triptych. So the first thing I'm going to need to do, and you'll have seen this in our Lightroom tutorials, which is a separate set of tutorials, and obviously you'll find out how to have done the imports as well at that point. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this image, and it's very, very easy to do. You can right click on the image, and that brings up this long menu, and about halfway down the menu there's an option to create a virtual copy, and hey presto, I've got 2 otters. Very, very simple. Now, in order for a triptych to work, ideally they need to have some kind of order to them. Obviously I've got an otter looking in, which is nice. I've got the fox looking straight out the centre, but then I've got this little guy who's kind of looking the wrong way. Doesn't matter, we're going to change that when we go into Photoshop. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select not one but all 3 of our images. Easiest way to do that is to pick the first one, hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and click the last one. You'll see they're now all lit up as white. Going into photo, we then have our edit in option. We've used this several times before. We're going to go ahead and use it again, and you'll notice this time, because we've got more than one image selected, we've got more than one option within Photoshop. We don't want to bring it in as layers at this stage. We're going to bring each image in individually. You can do it as layers, but as we'll demonstrate in this tutorial, it's just as easy to do them as separate images. Now, obviously, I've created an adjustment here by creating a copy, so Lightroom's giving me the choice of which version to bring into Lightroom, from Lightroom into Photoshop, and I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. So it's going to bring in my adjustments as well. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So they all appear across the top as 3 separate images. There's our fox, and there's our 3rd one. Now, this one we've said first and foremost is the wrong way around. It's very easy to switch the otter around. In our image panel, which we've used to change our canvas size before, and we will do again shortly, right underneath that we've got our image rotation, and you can obviously spin your otter around in all sorts of ways, although we don't suggest you do so for animal cruelty reasons. The simplest thing to do is just flip the canvas horizontally, and very, very quickly, very, very easily, this little fella is now looking the other direction. So we have one otter looking in from the right, we have our fox looking out at the centre, and we have another otter looking inwards from the left. So they're the order that I want to have them in. So the next thing to do is to actually create our triptych, and in order to do that we need a larger canvas to place all 3 of our images onto. The best way to do it, first and foremost, is to start with one of your images, preferably either the left hand side or the right hand side. You can do it from the centre, but you may just confuse yourself, as I probably would. So, image, canvas size. first and foremost, we're going to do exactly the same as what we did when we created our stroke border. So we want to shift away from centimetres, and I'm going to go back to percentage for this one, and I'm going to look at a difference of maybe 1%. I'm going to do that all the way around, exactly the same as we did with our stroke border. Okay, I'm going to keep it as white just for simplicity reasons, and I'm going to click OK. And there we go. I now have an otter with a white stroke border, exactly the same as we've done before. However, there's no limit to the number of times you can alter a canvas. So by going back into the same menu again choosing my percentages, and this time going with, let's go for on the width only, so relative, let's go for 350%, and on height that's going to be 350%. The height's not going to be altered, it's going to stay at the 100%. And this time, with our anchor, we want it anchored to the left hand side. So our canvas is going to extend out to one side only by 3.5 times, basically. And to show you that happening, I'm going to do it in a different colour. And for argument's sake, we'll pick a nice easy colour to see. How's blue? That'll work. So I'm going to click OK, and with a little bit of luck, this has worked. Hey presto. So now we have a much larger canvas size to which we can introduce our additional images. Now I can see from looking at that I've probably made this canvas far too big, because I've only got 2 other images to come in. That doesn't matter, I can correct that. I can either go back a step or I can correct it after the fact. In order to avoid confusion, it's probably easier to go ahead and make your correction straight away. And because, as with most of our Adobe programs, we've got the nice simple undo option, we can go to edit and undo canvas size. Very, very simple, non-destructive, nothing changes. So just to recap, canvas size, percentage, we're going to have the width at 250%, leaving the height the same, anchoring our otter to the left hand side, and because you've seen what difference it makes, I'm going to go back to using white and clicking OK. And there you go. So I now have my otter and I have space for other images. How do I get the images there? Well, that's going to come very shortly in the next tutorial. So skip across to the next one, you'll see exactly how that happens. Thanks for watching this one. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're learning. That's all for now from Bickington Photographic Club. We'll see you soon.